Hi viewers, today we are going to learn about the poem The Ball Poem written by John Berryman. John Berryman was an American poet who gained popularity in the second half of the last century. He was a prominent poet in the confessional school of poetry. He is best known for The Dream Songs, which was a sequence of 385 poems. He won Pulitzer Prize for the Dream Songs. The subject of his poetry is his own life and personal experiences. Through the ball poem, the poet John Berryman has described the reality of life which everyone has to face one day. He has touched the topic of how to stand up against the sorrows of life. In this poem, he describes the grief of a boy over the loss of his ball. With that loss, he senses his first responsibility in a materialistic world, where those whom you love and your worldly possessions will not be with you forever, and one should learn how to cope with that. This poem by John Berryman is about losing something that you have and learning to grow up with that. It's about a little boy who, for the first time in his young life, is learning what it is like to experience grief at the loss of a much beloved possession. Here it is his ball. To us, the loss of a ball is of minor consequence, and our reaction to it is to say, "Oh, there are other balls." But to a little boy, this is not so. A dime, another ball, is worthless. Money is external. It cannot buy back our love, nor replace the things that we love, the things that really matter. In this poem, the boy's ball personifies his young days and happy innocence. In this world, people will take balls just as they will take away our innocence and force us to grow up. And once we lose this innocence, we can never get it back. This poem describes how all through our life we'll be forced to do things that we don't want to do, and we will lose or have to give up the things that we love. But despite this, we have to learn to stand up, to be strong, and get on with our life, no matter how much it hurts inside, because that's the only way we will survive. We have to learn to accept and let go and not cling on to something that we can never have. The poet uses imagery when describing how the ball personifies the spirit of the boy's childish innocence. In the last 5 lines, we visualize how the spirit of this little boy, like the ball, is sinking into the dark waters of the harbor. This poem consists of only one stanza. There is no rhyming, but the poet instead conveys his meaning through the rhythm, the tone, and his use of words. For example, in the lines, "I saw it go merrily bouncing down the street and then merrily over," the short, brisk, happy words allow you to visualize a ball bouncing along. In the lines, "an ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy as he stands rigid, trembling, looking down all his young days into the harbor where his ball went." The words and rhythm is tragic, dramatic, and harsh, which is suitable for the situation. The Ball poem by John Berryman beautifully describes the state of mind of a boy who has lost his ball playing. He also gives a lesson full of wisdom that through loss, every man or woman learns to bear the pain associated with the loss. The poet sees a boy who is playing with a ball. The ball bounces out of his control and falls into the water. The boy becomes sad at this. The poet feels No other ball given to the boy will lessen his sadness. The lost ball stands for the general losses a human being suffers as he grows old. The losses may be the losses of a personal possession, or the death of a dear one, or separation from a beloved one. Using this metaphor, the poet highlights the main idea of coming to terms with the losses. As long as there is life, there will be many types of losses. What each one has to learn is bearing those losses. The ball poem conveys the idea we must not attach ourselves emotionally too much to anything in life. We should not grieve if we lose anything, however precious it may be. The loss is universal. We can buy some things, but there are many things that can never be bought. The boy's ball in the poem symbolizes his youthful days and happy innocence.